So, you decided to move to Austria? Either you love mountains or Mozart, or you just made a questionable life decision at 3 a.m. after watching too much of Sound of Music. Either way, this is Gira and I moved to Austria 9 years ago, and I'm about to give you a brief introduction on how to move to Austria. So now, depending on why you are in Austria, there are 4 main types of residence permit. First, we have student visa, meaning that you are studying at an Austrian university or language school. Second is work visa, aka red, white, red card. In German, it's Rot-Weiß-Rot-Karte, meaning that you've been offered a job in Austria or you were invited here to work in Austria. Third one is a self-employed or freelancer visa, meaning that you have your own business here in Austria, but this one is a little bit trickier to get because you need to prove your income, your clients, and actually the benefit that you bring to Austria. The fourth one is the family reunification visa, meaning that your spouse, your partner, or a parent is legally living in Vienna and you can actually reunite with this family member or your partner or spouse. So how and where do you apply for Austrian visa? Usually you do that at the Austrian embassy or Austrian consulate in your home country. You cannot do that, unfortunately, while you're in Austria. There are some exceptions, for example, like white red card. For example, after your studies, you can apply for such a card while you're in the country legally. So before you move to Austria, just go to österreichgv.at. It's a government website with all the requirements, and it actually makes sense to check it out from time to time when you move here, because it has all the up-to-date rules and requirements for everyone. So it's going to be your best friend for the whole stay in Austria, basically. And since we are in Austria, don't forget to make copies of all your documents, like 5 times maybe. Get them translated with your certified translator if required. And again, check the Österreichgv.at. Really, check it. And once you're in Austria, you need a place to live, unless your uncle owns a palace in Austria. And here are the websites that are best to look at. First, we have Willhaben, which is a great website where you can find everything starting from ski gear up to cuckoo clock, vintage, and of course, apartments. Another website is derstandard.at, Immobilien part. You can also find great apartments there. We also have Immobilien24.at. It's another website for real estate. Also, we have WG, in German WG, meaning that it's a shared apartment that you rent a room, and it's usually used by students or expats. It's actually a nice opportunity to meet local people or just other internationals. And for WG, we have the website that's called WG Gesucht, and you can find all the options there. Also, don't underestimate Facebook Marketplace and expat groups, but be sharp for scams. So while you're looking for an apartment in Vienna, you will come across with such terms as Wohnung, meaning an apartment, a flat. As I already said, WG, Wohngemeinschaft, a shared apartment. Another term is Garçonnier. I hope I pronounced it correctly. It's a tiny studio apartment. Another 2 terms, Mietwohnung and Kaufwohnung, meaning that you are renting or buying an apartment. Since I live in Vienna, I can share a lot of tips that I experienced myself and something that I would like to know before I was looking for an apartment myself. Here are some points that you should pay attention to when you look for an apartment. First is, of course, square meters, how big the apartment is. Then we have Kaltmiete and Warmmiete, meaning that the cost of your apartment, of the rent, with or without utilities. Also, we have BK, Betriebskosten, meaning operating costs of the house, like water or cleaning, etc. Also look for Heizung, meaning heating, how the house is heated, either gas, electric, or central. Just avoid expensive electric. Another 2 terms that is very important to know about are Kaution, and Provision. Caution is a deposit that you pay when you move into apartment, usually it's 2-3 month rents, and you get that money back once you are moved out. Unless you destroyed something in the apartment, they will cut it from your caution and you will just get back the rest of your caution. Provision is something that you pay to real estate agency or realtor. This is also up to 2-3 months rent, and you don't see that money ever again because you basically pay the fee of this agency. If you are planning to study in Austria, in Vienna, then I would recommend to check also the university dorms. They're usually quite nice and not so expensive, so check that option as well. Here are also some nice tips that I would love to share. Ask your landlord or the real estate company what exactly is included in the rent. Also, while you're looking for the apartment, for example, on the website, ask for actual photos of that apartment, not the squeaky shiny clean from the website, but how the apartment looks right now, or like balcony, for example. Also, a lot of companies do offer a visit of the apartment, so use that option and just go and check that apartment yourself, make photos, make videos, it's allowed, and make your decision afterwards. Okay, this one will sound a little bit maybe boring, but this is the most essential that you need in Austria. You gotta have a Meldezettel. You have to register your address in Austria. Once you have a place to live in Austria, you have to register yourself at this address and get a Meldezettel. Yes, it sounds like another rare Pokemon, but it's actually a proof that you exist in Austria. So what is actually a Meldezettel? It's basically just a form that says, "Hi, my name is Gera, I live at XYZ address, and I actually exist and live in Austria or Vienna or other city." It's required that you register your address within 3 days after you moved into that apartment or you got rental contract. Without Meldezettel, you cannot open a bank account, you cannot buy a local Austrian phone number, you cannot get your health insurance, you cannot get enrollment at university. Basically, you cannot do it. So yeah, no pressure. Good news that it's quite easy to get. You can just download it online, and a lot of landlords give it to you as a gift, except it's paperwork, and you just fill it out together with the landlord and you bring it to a registration office. In Vienna, it's called Magistratisches Bezirksamt, aka registration office. In other cities, it's called Gemeindeamt or Bezirkshauptmannschaft. Usually no appointment needed, but some registration offices, they do offer the pre-registration on the websites and pre-booking of the appointment. I would highly recommend to do that, or just go there before 10 a.m. Otherwise it's a mayhem. So what happens next? They will stamp this form that you bring and they will give you another document. It's another paper that will prove that you registered at this address, and keep that original safe. Make like 5 copies of that, scan it, and then keep it digitally as well. And this is your holy grail. This is a very important document that you're gonna have in Austria, and you will need this document in the next few months, especially in the beginning when you're in Austria. So keep that safe. Yes, you can recover that document, but it takes some time and it costs some money. So just keep that original safe. Step number 4, get yourself a health insurance. In Austria, having a health insurance, it's not an option. It's not a maybe, it's the law. Austria has one of the best health insurance systems in Europe. And yes, you guessed it right. How do I get covered? Austrian health insurance system is quite simple. It has 2 types, which is public and private. Public insurance is run by ÖGK, Österreichische Gesundheitskasse, and private one is run by multiple private companies like Wiener Städtische or Unica or Feel Safe, etc., etc. Once you are insured, it's quite easy to use. You just go go to the doctor, and if you are covered privately, then you pay on site and you just reimburse it with the company. Keep those receipts. And in the public sector, you just bring your e-card and you just give it and it's covered. There are some things that are not covered by public insurance, so you just have to check it out with your doctor, but mostly it's covered by ÖGK. Most Austrians use public insurance because it's easy, it's convenient, it works perfectly, and they do get private insurance additionally for some comfort perks like extra room in the hospital, or if they want to choose their favorite surgeon, for example. Step number 5, learn basic German. This step either make or break your experience in Austria. While a lot of Austrians do speak English, especially in university towns, you will eventually need some basic German. For example, survive supermarket encounter or bureaucracy or other occasions. Here is the thing, Austrians are very polite and they will change to English if they see that you struggle, but a lot of government forms, websites, information, and so on, it's all in German, and as I said, eventually you will need to learn it, so I would recommend to start early. It will just help you in the future. And there's just something nice about being able to order ein verlängerter bitte. It just hits different, you know? Quick warning, Austrian German is not like German German. They differentiate. They don't sound exactly the same. There are so many dialects. You will just have to learn Austrian German. For example, to say hello, we say Grüß Gott or Servus. There are many words that are not the same as in Germany. Grüß Gott might sound a little bit religious, but if you want to score Austrian points instantly, just use it and you are fine. In Germany, they say Kartoffel. In Austria, we say Erdapfel. Very important. My favorite. Don't shy to say, wie sagt man das auf Deutsch? And if someone corrects you, thank them. Because they just want to help. They don't mean it in a mean way. They just want to support your journey. It's charming. It's confusing at first. Embrace it. So now you've got your visa, your apartment, your perfect Meldezettel, and you can say Grüß Gott proudly at the supermarket. I think it's time to get your public transport ticket. Vienna infrastructure, and I'm talking only about Vienna since I live in Vienna for 9 years, there is a Jahreskarte from wienerlinien.at. It's an annual ticket that you can buy for 365 euros, meaning it's €1 per ride. I think it's a great deal. Perfect, actually. I think I say that quite often and a lot, that infrastructure in Vienna is amazing. It's great. For me personally, it's great. I love it. So once you have your public transport ticket, you can just use it for all transport in the city. There are no tourniquets in Vienna. So you just have your card with you, or you download it as a digital, like in the app, and there you have it. A lot of employers, they do offer this as their benefits policies, that they offer you a Jahresticket and they pay for that. I find it great, so you don't have to worry about that. Since there are no tourniquets in Vienna, there are occasional random checks, like controllers that check if you have a ticket. If you don't have a ticket, then you have to pay a fine, which is 105 euros. Ouch. For students, there are some options that are cheaper and you can just buy it pro semester, which costs, if I'm not mistaken, 75 euros per semester. And in summer break, you can just buy a monthly ticket, which is 30 euros per month. So I guess that is a great option for students as well. The one-time ticket costs just 2 euros 20 cents, I guess. It's valid for 1 hour and you can just switch the transport within that 1 hour. And if you need more information on the tickets, just go on wienerlinien.at. Step number 7. This is maybe not a tip on how to move to Austria, but it's something that you should keep in mind once you just travel for a vacation or you move to Austria, that cash is king. Austrians love cash. Card payment, maybe not. Like some restaurants Some coffee houses, they still don't accept card payments. It's wild to hear it in 2025, especially if you're like from a country like Sweden or America. I personally don't want to speculate and decide why it's like that in Austria. Just accept it and just carry with yourself a 20 or 50 in cash and you're safe. Also, for some card payments, there is a limit. For example, you cannot pay with card unless you pay 5 or 10 euros. For example, for like a cappuccino that costs 3-4 euros, you would have to order something else to top it to 10. Or you pay cash. Don't panic though, there are a lot of ATMs, they called bankomat, and they're almost everywhere. So if you're in the situation where you don't have cash, you can just withdraw some. Also, some public restrooms, they charge 50 cents, and it's nice to carry some cash with you if you're happened and you need to take a wee at the public place. Keep some cash with you. Leaving a tip to a waiter, it's actually a very popular thing in Austria. It's polite, it's expected. And if you don't want to look like a tourist, you just do it. And especially if you're happy with the service, then just leave some 2-3 euros tip. So how to not end up in the situation when there is only cash payment and you don't have cash? Usually they put it in front before you enter the restaurant. Nur Barzahlung possible, meaning only cash. Or you can ask before sitting down and ordering something, kann ich mit Karte zahlen? Can I pay with card? And this will save some hassle. So there you have it, a very brief introduction on how to move to Austria. If you have any topics that you would like to have covered or explained, please let me know in the comment section and I would love to explain it for you and to make a nice tutorial or a guide, because I live here for 9 years and I faced so many situations and I could have saved so much time if I had those tips beforehand, and I would love to share my experience with you. Just let me know what is interesting and maybe give me some ideas for the upcoming videos about Austria. I would love to do that, and see you next time.